One of the biggest events in wrestling history, and it wasn't a WWE event. It would sound like the craziest thing if somebody said this in 2018, but All Elite Wrestling had the necessary star power to actually put on a show in Wembley Stadium. They get these big ass concerts, FA Cup finals, even Champions League matches in the past, and now they have AEW. Honestly, it's crazy how AEW managed to have 80,000 fans in attendance for the show. It is absolutely ridiculous, not to mention that it's probably the highest paid attended show in wrestling history. I don't even know what to say about that. Tony was paying all kinds of music rights. This show had everything. So right now, let's get into it. Right before the show, MJF and Adam Cole won the ROH Tag Team Championships. Their friendship steered them towards victory. They're champions. Hook managed to beat Jack Perry. This is, of course, a catalyst for the whole CM Punk incident later on, with Jack Perry mentioning the glass incident. But that's not the point. Let's get into the official show. Okay, the first match on the show was for the Real World Championship. CM Punk defended the gold against Samoa Joe. Punk's been back. He literally has his own show, and there's a lot of drama, especially during this show. Jack Perry in particular had a problem with him, but that's not the point. We don't want to talk about that here. Punk got a very mixed, almost negative reception. I'd lean towards negative, and it's a situation he relishes. He's even got the buzz cut. That combo is a recipe for disaster. Just ask Jack Perry. This wasn't going to come close to their previous matches, but that said, it's decent. I kind of expected them to go longer, but the card was tight. Punk, who was bladed, was out here shouting out Cena and Hogan. Samoa Joe looked like the powerhouse, but the match in general doesn't really stand out. It was enjoyable though. Yeah, Punk wasn't going to be perfect, as was Joe, but it was good enough. He managed to score the victory with a Pepsi plunge, which kind of caught me off guard. I don't know why he did, but I think it's because of AEW's kick-out drama thing that they usually do. I think that's the reason why, but Punk was victorious. He retained the title. Best part of the match for me was Joe finding a way to no-sell Punk's aerial move. The crowd loved it, as did I. It was good. Okay, the next match was a trios tag team match. Konosuke Takeshita, Juice Robinson, and Switchblade Jay White, the duo of Bullet Club Gold, faced Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi. I liked this match. It was a bit better in my eyes than the opener. Spotfest match that would have stood out more on Dynamite. Like, if this was the main event of Dynamite, it would have been even better. I feel like as good as the platform here was, it was a secondary match in the story. Nice to see the Golden Lovers back. The main match in this story is, of course, Omega and Takeshita, so they use this match to further that story. Takeshita scored the victory like that against Omega, but I'm sure it will end differently at All Out. Enjoyable match, but as I said, there was just some much better stuff on the card, especially later on. The next match was for the AEW Tag Team Championships. FTR faced the Young Bucks. Another match in this storied feud. For some reason, as good as this match was, and the atmosphere is off the charts. These fans in London and England, they always go hard. That's what they did here. It didn't feel as much of a big deal compared to their previous matches though. I don't know why. You know, they had the atmosphere, they had the situation, everything was big about it. Both teams are desperate to be considered the very best in the world, and the work they did here helps their case plenty. It's not like their previous matches though. You know, like, those matches were on another level. Their last tag match was my favorite match for AEW in 2022. It was that damn good. Here, great stuff, good stuff, but man, did the rest of the card overshadow it. At least in my eyes. I don't know, I feel like, there was a little too high expectations here for FTR and the Young Bucks, which didn't bode well for them. FTR emerged victorious here. The bitter Bucks couldn't accept the loss, and who knows how things go in the future. But yeah, a good match. Great match. Great match. Do not think it's a good match. I thought it was great. It's just the previous matches they had were better. That's what it comes down to. The next match was Stadium Stampede. The Blackpool Combat Club, Santana and Ortiz faced Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Eddie Kingston. This match had stabbings, a character change, moms driving vans into the arena. It was all over the place. I can't overstate how much I liked this match. It clicked very well, and there was never a dull moment because these guys were all over the place. It was pretty fun. Penta responding was kind of funny though, and the ladder breaking in the middle of their big spot. Claudio looked like a bulldozer at one point near the end, causing chaos. Mox bleeding all over the place is normal business, but Orange Cassidy in particular looked amazing. I find it almost strange how he's slowly becoming one of the best wrestlers in AEW because it was hidden in plain sight. Now he's scoring victories against the Blackpool Combat Club on the biggest stage possible. This match, it was trashy, wild. It wasn't perfect. It was just all over the place, but this was easily one of my favorite matches of the year because even though I came into it expecting it to be good, I went into it empty-minded, so they exceeded my expectations. Orange Cassidy's title reign has been a very huge surprise, and now he's probably going to face Jon Moxley. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is yet another win. It would do a lot for him to beat one of the final bosses of All Elite Wrestling, but as I said, this was one of the most entertaining matches I watched this year. It was just all over the place. It was violent, it was funny, it was everything. It was cool, I loved it. Alright, with that said, the next match was a Fatal 4-Way match of the AEW Women's Championship. Championship. Hikaru Shida defended the gold against Toni Storm, Saraya, and Britt Baker. Shida's champion once again. It almost comes as a surprise, especially because Toni Storm and the Outcasts were like the main characters of the women's division. But that's what happens when the main champion, Jamie Hayter, gets injured. You know, plans change. The moment Saraya came out to "We Will Rock You" and her family was by her side, the result was sealed. There was no way that AEW was going to spoiler her homecoming return. The match itself was average, very fast-paced stuff. The Outcasts were showing some cracks after Storm accidentally dropped Saraya's mom. Ruby Soho tried to calm things down, but after a strike was like, "I'm out." Saraya winning wasn't surprising. I do wish Shida kept the title though, because personally speaking, I'm not really interested in a title reign. What's more shocking than the win though was "We Are the Champions" not being played. Tony has the infinite money glitch, so I kind of expected it to happen if she were to win, but it didn't. But Saraya is the new champion. We'll see how things go from here. The next match is a coffin match. Darby Allin and Sting faced Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland. You guys know tag team matches with Sting. They have a certain vibe around them, and this match is no different. It's just vibes. Sting is, I believe, unbeaten, and here was the same story. It's almost the same match as a previous one. It's just this time Swerve is the victim. The crowd loved it. Sting shows he still got it, which is insane. Darby almost died at one point, which could be said in just about every match of his. And that's the match, you know, like, I don't got much to say about it because I've seen a lot of these Sting matches in the past, and it's mostly the same. It's just some fun stuff. Okay, with that said, the next match was between Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay. This match feels kind of random, like something that would have happened in 2018 or 19. Jericho performed Judas with Fozzy right before the match, and initially I wasn't feeling a match between the two. I thought Ospreay could have faced somebody else, but Jericho held his own. I think just the merit of Ospreay being probably the most informed wrestler in the world forced him to step up. He was much better here. I think I was a bit harsh on him recently because at the end of the day, this is like his 33rd year wrestling. I love this performance. For Ospreay, it's business as usual. He turned it up in a big atmosphere as expected and emerged victorious. Great match. I doubted this match before, but I'm glad it happened. It's always good seeing Will Ospreay in AEW, especially in this big match situation with the likes of Chris Jericho and all these guys. It's nice. Alright, with that said, the next match is a trios tag team match for the trios titles. The House of Black defended the titles against the Acclaimed and Badass Billy Gunn. Nice to see the House of Black pay tribute to Bray Wyatt. That was nice. This match, despite being a bit energetic, felt like the cooldown spot. Mercedes had everyone's attention, but I thought the match, it was decent. I don't really have much to say about it, other than the fact that it was satisfying. The Acclaimed scored the victory to become the champions, and the former champions couldn't really accept this initially, but put their pride and ego aside to hand them the belt, so that was nice. And the main event, MJF defended the AEW World Championship against Adam Cole. The best friend story has come to All In. This story is bizarre. It's very strange, but it ties into the MJF lore of him never being accepted. So the match here was good. That's not the main thing. The main thing was the story, a comedy, a drama. It was everything. Adam Cole was shown to be more in line with his motivation, that was to become champion, and was about to do everything he could to win the belt. MJF, on the other hand, had a huge cloud hanging over his head. That was the friendship. He didn't want to damage his friend. Cole was getting more and more desperate, and then the match ended in a draw. So Adam Cole, calling back to last time, demanded the match to restart. This time, though, it did. Comedy spot where one tries topping the other with a chair. It was becoming more and more of a possibility for Adam Cole to win the title, and MJF was slowly coming to terms that he can't cheat, and then Roddy Strong running in trying to convince Cole that he's his friend, that he should take advantage is what happened. It was crazy. Same spot as the one on Collision, but this time Adam Cole turns down the chance and it costs him the match. Friendship seemed broken, Cole was in over his head, things were intense and MJF was ready to go down, but instead they embraced and ended the show as friends. Great story. It was very profound. I liked it because they took a different route with the Will They Coexist story and actually decided to make them friends. Was it overbooked? Yes. Did I like it? Yes. Very entertaining match. I loved it. I thought it was nice that they didn't end this friendship because, well, they didn't need to. Fans love it. I love it. They just got to keep it going. It was some nice stuff, and for me, it's match of the night. It was very overbooked. It was very dramatic, and as I said, there was a little possibility that was growing more and more as time went on of Adam Cole winning the AEW World Championship, so it was a nice match. I loved it. That's All In. Crazy, crazy event. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great event. Tony was spending a hell of a lot of money on licensed music here. I didn't mention all of it because there's just so much. Match of the night is, of course, the main event, but other than that, there wasn't really a bad match on the card. So I enjoyed this show. We'll see how All Out goes next week. I think it's a bit tight for them because they don't got many matches booked. So we'll see how things go. Alright, what you guys think of All In? Please comment down below. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the Panama Sunrise on the like button and perhaps the paradigm shift on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.